Hey, there we are. There we are.
Hello.
Wow.
Oh, I'm getting notifications all over my computer that we're all live. So
Oh.
I guess we're live.
Yeah, the
Just
Discord
in
is going.
time, too, because AZ Cowboy was getting...
Oh, shoot.
Oh.
Victory's
Here we go.
latest video on that Gorger table.
Yes, I did see that. Gorgar is one of my favorite. I put a comment on his video at the arcade place we got here. That's one of my. I go to that game first thing when I get down there. I love that game. Cool.
Nice.
And he did. Digital Victory did put together a great video on that, as always. He always.
Yeah, he always does. He always does. So how's it going, guys? How's everyone doing?
Good.
Good. Both my eyes are intact.
Yeah, still has two eyes.
You can't take those off or you'll shoot a beam and wipe us all out. I saw that in the
Got the Cyclops mod.
Arizona Cowboy 1 said something last week when we were talking about that, about, well, you can come on, we'll have a patch on or something. You know, I've had both eyes done now, all within, one was done Monday, one was done Tuesday. Never a patch. Never a patch. Matter of fact, I walked out of the surgery with these on and could see out of both eyes.
Nice.
Immediately.
Excellent. Yeah, excellent.
That was a little blurry, but now these are not prescription. These are just UV preventable, and I'm still not 100%, but so far I am able to read every bit of that chat that's up there, and I couldn't do that before hardly with my glasses. Now, it's a little fuzzy because I got to heal yet, but I can see, I can see Calvin talking about Digital Victory made a Grogar video, classic table, and anyway, I can see that stuff. I'm not going to read the whole chat, but you know what I'm saying. So that's an update on me. That's all I'm going to say about it, other than I got to wear these stupid things for about a month, and then I'll be done.
You just need some mechanical dock off arms behind you there.
There you go. Oh, do you have a jacket on?
Yeah, it was a little chillier yesterday, so I was anticipating it being chillier today, but it's not quite as bad. It's been rainy. It got down there pretty chilly in the 40s and 50s. And, it's still rainy today, but it's not as bad. I messed up. I slept, we stayed up extra late last night, not for any fun reason, just because. And then I slept really late today and got up not feeling good. I was going to visit my parents, and then I kind of waved that on. And so we were just in the house. We had a big thing of broccoli soup and a baguette that we cut up, and we were keeping warm. And then I finally came out here to set up, and I'm like, oh, it's not all that bad. I don't know why I have the coat on, but I just kept it on. I'm lazy like that. So.
Wow. Well, I got in honor of your nice, cool weather. Let me see. I got a face the right way. I got you a blow up. It's 86 degrees inside here with the air conditioner on, so you can take that cold weather and it's around probably around 60 right now, and inside, I mean, outside it's a little bit chillier, but
it's gotten into the 60s. It's gotten into the 60s here the last couple of weeks, or last week or so. 80s during the day, but at night it'll get down to the 60s. It's been.
Yeah, at nighttime it's not too bad up here. I mean, but I'm talking like 70 degrees at 4 in the morning. But it is nicer than it was. But I looked at the 30-day outlook, and it looks like it's going to be mid-October before we get out of the 90s. So
wow,
yeah, it's still a little warm. But Kelly said she's jealous of you wearing a jacket. And she likes Craig's glasses. She's digging the specs. She's really liking that your eyes are working better without prescription glasses.
It is cool. It's cool technology, but I do have a dark pair. I'm supposed to close my eyes when I change them, and I wear dark ones when I'm outside. Wear these when I'm inside, and then sleeping at night's kind of a deal. I got everything turned off. And I got to reach for, if I'm going to turn on, like I've just gotten used to just going blind into the bathroom if I have to in the middle of the night and leaving the lights off. Because if I turn them on, I got to grab this pair. So It's okay. I mean, it's just 4 weeks. It's well worth it.
So they're auto-adjusting things, though, you said. So the big question is, if you really try hard to focus on something that's far away, does it go?
Yeah. It's kind of like that. What's that guy's name that was in the Star Trek that had the band on? You know.
Geordie LaForge.
Yeah, Jody. Yeah.
Yeah. Then in the newer movies, they had that taken off, and he had those digital eye things. That was pretty cool when he saw Zephyrin Cochrane running away through the woods, and he zoomed in with his eyes. See, Mike, I know Star Trek.
No, but in all actuality, what they can do with these is they have to. I thought that was a forever thing. They could always adjust them, but when my eyes heal from this, they say when your eyes are swollen, the different side, the roundness of your eye affects your vision. Once that swelling goes down, they'll take me in for a series of eye exams, and then they'll shine a UV light in my eye, some computerized mechanism that will adjust them to that prescription that they're reading. Then go back a week later, eye exam, adjust them again 3 or 4 times till they get a good average, and then they'll close them. And that's why I got to wear these glasses. Can't let UV get in to auto adjust them on their own, but they'll adjust. And I mean, but talking about technology, man, I mean, this guy just basically removed cataracts and inserted these two. Let's say inserted a steroid capsule behind my eye. It was all gross, man, but it's still. But I didn't hardly know it, and so it's auto-releasing medicine in there. It's all automatic, other than wearing these glasses.
Nice.
No stitches and no pain. They ache. They kind of feel like a toothache, only an eye ache, and it's because they went through trauma. But aside from that, I mean, you wouldn't know. Cheryl and I went to eat both days afterwards. I won, we had pizza, and I two, we had Mexican.
Nice.
I saw the pictures. Made me hungry.
Yeah.
Okay, now I got to make the inappropriate joke, so if people get easily offended, hit mute for a couple seconds. Greg, you don't need to have that steroid packet back there anymore, because now you can just go sign up for the women's weightlifting competition. It's perfectly legal. You just got to sign your name and say, check the right box.
Yeah.
No need for steroids.
That's right. I can do that.
Yep.
Yeah. Now they're all talking about the $6 Million Man, which I never understood.
That brings up
Steve Austin. He had the two legs, so he could run in slow motion. He had the one eye and one arm, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they'd show him be in handcuffs, and he had to break out, and he'd break out with his bionic arm. How come it didn't just snap his left arm when he did that? Or when the bionic woman ripped that phone book in half at the school because she was all mad, how come she just didn't rip it out of her own hand and smack herself in the head with it? I don't understand that. How bionic arm makes your other arm strong, too.
Everybody wants to talk about everything leading back around to Kevin Bacon, but Andre the Giant, Bigfoot, $6 Million Man, one of the Bigfoots. Now, the other one was played by that Cassidy dude that played Lurch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he played Bigfoot in one of the episodes of $6 Million Man. So.
Nice. and Andre the Giant was in something with Bacon?
Maybe he was. Maybe. Well, Andre the Giant was one of...
to get to Steve Austin.
Yeah, it has to go back to Kevin Bacon, right?
Yeah. If you count all of show business, my Bacon number's like 3. I played a show with a guy who was in a band. I was in a band. He was in a band, and he was the Black Power Ranger in the Power Ranger movie. And he was also in a movie with a guy that was in a movie with Kevin Bacon.
Mm.
So it's like nice. 3 leaps from me to get to Kevin Bacon, if you count all of show business. So, which is what I'm doing, because, it's on my resume. But
Nacho liked that. He heard you say bacon.
Yeah. Did they use the eye speculum, Greg?
Well, I don't know what you call it. First of all, I got to tell you something. They had some great drugs. Is Chaos here?
He was. He said me too.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was making an accusation or if he was just saying hello. Or
I'm just gonna tell Chaos. If you want some really good drugs, you need to go get cataract surgery. I'm telling you what. Whatever that stuff gave you, I didn't give a rat's ass about nothing because they won't knock you out totally. But I mean, I was laying there like, hey, what's happening? But they, as far as the speculum, I don't know. I couldn't see and I was screwed up, but I do know that the way they kept your eye open is they opened your eye up and then they you could see them take this big gob of tape and then on your upper eyelash up, they just put that tape on there and taped your upper eyelash to your forehead. Then they took your lower eyelash and taped it to your jaw. And I did feel them something moving around. So they must have put some type of cup or something in there. But I swear I wouldn't know. I mean, I just remember them taping that eye up. They said, we're going to put a little tape on here. And I thought, holy shit, a little tape. I mean, it was a big gob of tape. And when they ripped it off, too, oh, my God, it was stuck to your eyelash. That probably hurt more than me. It really didn't hurt that bad.
Oh.
So, yeah, they had a way of forcing your eye to stay open. You couldn't close your eye.
Yeah, AZ Cowboy 1 said he got the Clockwork Orange tool when he got the laser gun. Guy dripping the drips in your eyes while you're having to watch.
Well, and I've got a series of eye drops I've got to take through this whole thing. I mean, I don't know. When I go to bed at night, I got little protective clear cups. They're not UV protected, but I got to tape those on my face and sleep with those at night just so you don't inadvertently stick your finger in your eye, I guess, in the night or something. I don't know.
Chaos says he couldn't have him mess with his eyes while he's awake. Well, if they give you enough drugs, people can do pretty much whatever.
Wouldn't you still see it if you were asleep and open it up?
Right?
Well, as far as being screwed up, that's one thing I will say. Everything looked like, I told you about the drugs, everything, and some of you guys are too young for this. It looked like I was looking at a lava light from the 70s. I mean, I was screwed up, and it did. When you looked, it looked like just these globs floating around, and there was constantly the trickle of some type of fluid running over my eye because you could feel it running down your side. But like I said, at that point, it was kind of like, hey, party on, Garth. I mean,
I think they still have those lava lamps at Spencer's Gifts. You hang a left past all the rubber wieners and stuff.
Yeah. I think they closed. I haven't seen a Spencer's Gift in years. Those are cool places.
Yeah, they got all kinds of stuff in there.
Like wieners and stuff.
Oh, Spencer.
But the last thing I'll say, since he mentioned the shrooms, it was cool. Whatever drug that was they gave you to screw you up, the minute they quit giving it to you, it was like you were unstoned. I mean, you were just like,
oh wow, like right out of.
Yeah, you were just right. It's like, okay, we're done. Oh, well, hello.
Wow,
that's pretty wild.
Yeah. So you could do that stuff on your way to work, Poe, and then straighten up when you go in.
I'd rather do it at work and then all of a sudden snap out of it when I'm at home.
Right.
It's like, it was only a dream, a terrible nightmare.
Oh, that's funny.
But nobody wants to know about that. Hey, Halloween's coming up. I been just tapping around, looking around and stuff. I think that Pinball M is going to come out in the next couple of weeks.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, I think that's going to come out in the next couple of weeks because, I mean, unless they're idiots and put it out on Halloween, because I think if you're going to enjoy something that's Halloweeny, that's kind of a... Where'd you find it?
You can find that at Spencer's.
You probably could, yeah.
You think you'd put it out in time to enjoy it. That's one thing that killed me about At Games. At Games put out, what was it? Last year they put out, was it their Christmas one, or which one did they do that they put it out after that particular holiday? I thought.
Yeah, I think was it the Grinch table came out like after Christmas in January or something.
Yeah, and
that's a little goofy.
Who's going to spend $1,100 on this?
People are buying it. I saw on that At Games Facebook page, just people, I pre-ordered. And if they're happy, good for them. But, well, it's a little steep for me.
Well, now they try to get you with all these things. Or you can do shop pay.
Yeah.
And for 17,000 months, you can pay $12.99. Boy, that sounds like a deal to me.
Well, it's like $400 off if you buy it this week. And then it goes back up $100 for a couple weeks. It's pretty steep, pretty short amount of time to get the really good deal, if you want to call $1,100 a good deal. I guess it is $400 off, but there's $100 shipping on top of it. So now you're at $1,200. And like AZ Cowboy saying, way too much for not having any tables on release. It's like, well, I guess if you buy that Addams Family one, you'll get the Addams Family on it. And then
aren't there some Gottlieb tables that they give you that people have been saying they're pretty crappy tables?
Yeah, there's nothing that really stood out, and they're doing the same thing that Zen did with. If people have their At Games HD, is what they're calling the old one, the regular At Game, and you bought all the packs for hundreds of dollars, none of them transfer. So You're starting from scratch with pinball tables. So I guess they figured that's what Zen did. That's what we'll do.
Yeah, I was going to say, in their defense, which if you call it defense, and sometimes I kind of get that. I know I'm not going to be popular saying that, but if you're in the business of selling this stuff and you upgrade something, I mean, if you go buy a 2023 Chevrolet, in 2023 they come out with one that's got a couple extra options. You can't take your 2022 and say, add those options, would you? I mean, no, you're going to have to pay for them. It's just Just
talking about Halloween games, Chaos had put in there. He wanted to pick up that Once Upon a Time on Halloween was $2. Now it's back up to $10. That is a really fun game, Chaos. And matter of fact, I think, did I do a segment for the show where I played that? Yeah.
Yep.
And I got it on the arcade. Super fun. It's very, very Tapper-like. And, oh, crap. What's the Cuphead, right? It's like Cuphead meets Tapper. It's really fun. If it was $2, it would be a steal. That's a great price for that.
I'm researching a new stimulator, as old poet put it, and I'm going to be like Bart. I'm going to be secretive as he was before he came out with his little choo-choo.
It's tugboats.
I found a new one that's intriguing me, and the main person I want to keep it from is Bart. I'd tell the rest of you if he would bug off. But because I don't want him getting it before me and everybody saying, "Oh, look, he went and got what Bart got again." It can be the other way around this time. But I happened to happen on to this game that's been around for a while, and it's a simulator, and it looks kind of like it'd be something I'd enjoy. So next month, I'll be honest with you, I'm waiting 2 or 3 weeks. I'm gonna see if this son bitch goes on sale. I'm a tight ass. But if it doesn't go on sale, because it's not that expensive. That's all I'll say about it. Look like fun, be something new. You can look forward to on my channel, hopefully.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Bart will probably figure it out. Oh, shoot. Did your wish list on Steam show up to all your friends? I better go delete that sumbitch right now.
Yeah. No, I'm not looking to. The only thing I'm looking to purchase in the near future is that Alaskan truck simulator. I don't know. That's supposed to be coming out, I think, what is it, the 19th or something of October, something like that. But it looks pretty cool because it has all the survival elements too. You have to eat. You have to get out of your truck and actually hook up the lines and stuff.
Don't forget Ghostbusters is coming out.
Oh, yeah.
At rules at 25th of October for VR. So,
yeah.
But I believe it's only 3-player. One of us has got to go.
Last thing I'll say, I am out. The doctor told me definitely do not put your VR headset on.
Yeah, I was going to say that'll leave Greg out if it comes out before he's off of restriction, because that VR headset, I know that's a big no-no.
Yeah.
But before we get too far away, I guess we should probably address some of these people in the chat. We're talking about the They're talking about it. There's supposed to be updates for your HD Gottlieb tables coming out. Yeah, but they're not going to be free from what I understand. They're going to do upgrades for the 4K, but you're still going to have to pay for them again. AZ Cowboy says it's cheaper to vinyl wrap an old arcade one-up pinball and put a computer in it. Yeah, or if you have the old, the old Legends At Games, just upgrade, just put a computer in it, run the bring your own game stuff.
Because that's half the problem, in my opinion, for a lot of people is, Bart had the wherewithal, I had the wherewithal to put together a cabinet. And like I said, you can say all you want about how yours look great. Well, if you're seeing pictures of them where I can hold the candle at the right angle, the camera at the right angle. I mean, they got what I call 20-foot paint jobs. They look good from 20 foot out. But
Right.
but still, we have the wherewithal to do that. Somebody that does not have the wherewithal to put all this together, in a shop with tools and stuff, it might be better off than buying something like this. I mean, it did cost me. It cost me less than that to build this one. Still it's.
Yeah, you could build a definitely an equivalent one to that for cheaper, but it is a lot of work and it's a lot of setup work and all that stuff, and and it looks gorgeous. That one they showed that had the Addams Family artwork on it looks awesome, but yeah, it's a little steep for me, and I would rather just build a new one before I'd spend $1,100 on that. So,
hey, just real quick, changing my focus for a second. I had this other monitor on. I can turn it back now. The Chiefs did win today, so that's what they were finishing up when we started the show. But I know this isn't really gaming related, but it's kind of pop culture. I don't know if y'all noticed. I'm going to be the first to report on our channel here tonight. It's not going to hit mainstream news. There's been a big rumor about Travis Kelce, our tight end that's kind of made himself a big name, was on Saturday Night Live, that he was dating Taylor Swift. Well, she's at Arrowhead sitting in Kelsey's box next to Kelsey's mom at the Chiefs game today. And the local news got shot from it. So I don't think that's a rumor anymore because they just flashed another picture over here on the news showing her sitting in the box next to her. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. Okay, enough of the pop culture news. There you go. You heard it here. You heard it here first.
Nice. Anyway, I think we've about talked out that at games thing. I think everyone.
Well, can I bring up one other thing about at games?
Sure.
I heard that he Swift her. That's pretty good. We at games is coming out with a new Legends Ultimate stand-up machine. Like I've got the Legends Ultimate stand-up. Well, they're coming out with a new one of that. That's in 4K as well.
Yeah. That's coming up soon, I guess. I don't know when it's because it didn't hit yet, right? But it's coming.
No, it's supposedly that's coming too. And the only other thing I heard is that from you, Bart, and then more people are talking about CoinOps X with the latest updates is not working, and there's some people are saying no, there's no way they could give up on that because that was one of their selling points was to be able to sideload games that way. But then some people are saying that they might have come in agreement with these other places because they agreed to knock that off, not do that. So
yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of scary.
So
that's the only reason I wanted that is so I can play some of those other games.
Yeah. For me, it has quickly become, as Poe can attest to, my at games Legends Gamer Pro is just to play those at game pinball tables that I can't get anywhere else because I just use my iircade for all the stuff that I had on my at games using the sauce, whether it was CoinOps X or Sauce One or one of those, I have on the iircade now. And the only thing it's missing is on my at games, it has this trackball, but that'll be fixed when Glenn's deck comes out. So there's really nothing other than the pinball. I'm not needing that, but it sucks for people that do because eventually they're going to force a firmware update and it's going to kill everybody's or people that don't know it. So they just do a firmware update. Oh, look, there's new firmware. And all of a sudden, wait, you mean I can't play Galaga? What just happened?
Right. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, and to reiterate what you said, if you remember right, there was a time when a new pinball came out on at games, and I couldn't get it to run, and you were, and I think you were the one that said, "Hey, Greg, did you do a firmware update?" And I said, "No," and I did the firmware update, and it started working. So you are correct. You may say, "Well, I'll never firmware update." Well, if you want any of the new pinball tables that come out for it, you may be forced into doing that. But I'm kind of like you. That's really the only thing I play on the. I got 3 of them. I got the Ultimate, I got the Mini, and I got the Gamer Pro.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I
a
got,
little concerned now that they're coming out with the 4K that they're going to do a, kind of like what happened with Zen. They moved on to FX, and if you're sticking with FX3, you can't buy the new tables. They're only coming out for FX. And are they suddenly going to say, oh, here's the new pinball pack that's coming out? Oh, it's only for 4K. We're not going to release an HD version that you can play on your old stuff. That would suck.
Yeah.
Because
And the same thing with the I belong to that arcade net, which I'm going to have to. The only reason I like paying for that right now is it's $10 a month, which we can debate about that, but I like the fact that when I buy those packs, I have them instead of registered to that machine, I have them registered to my arcade net account, which allows you to play them on all your devices.
Right.
So you have to have that arcade net account, but now I don't think I have to have the paid arcade net account. I think there's a free one though.
I think that'll work even if you don't pay, but I'm not for sure.
Right, but I do like I'll tell you what, it is kind of fun when I got a bunch of people over. If people want to play on that, you can play some pinball on that stand-up cabinet. And it,
right?
I think it sucks because I got regular pinball machines, but somebody that doesn't,
Right.
I mean, before I got my pinball machines, that was the first arcade thing I ever put in that room was that at games. And I before I knew anything else, I had a ball playing pinball.
Yeah. See, AZ Cowboy 1 said he'd rather see it come out with a CRT instead of a 4K monitor. And I think they would be surprised to see how well that would sell if they released a CRT.
Well, I heard the CRTs though. It's kind of a forgotten art how to make them. I forgot where they were making them at, and then that plant shut down, so they don't produce CRT monitors anymore. The only way you can get them is like buying them online, and I know like a lot of people in the arcade community.
Yeah.
They're hanging on to theirs. They're not selling it. I only have one backup CRT. I don't plan on getting rid of it because I know a lot of people were asking, like, "Hey, you want to get rid of it?" It's like, no, I'm keeping it for my arcade machine. But yeah, it's getting hard to find CRTs nowadays.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess that's the one good thing about these newer systems coming out, that they're making these light guns that are actually starting to work with things. And the certain filters and things like that, even though some people don't like them, at least they're giving you that option with these new throwback systems, that you can put these filters on to make the games look old,
Right. Yeah, Chaos was asking what's coming out with the Grinch. I don't know that there's anything new. We were talking about that at games, that pinball table that came out last year for the. I don't know if there's anything new coming out, Grinch. And yeah, Mom has a Sony Trinitron with the custom lock and stand. Nice.
Oh,
None of you guys.
I had a Sony Trinitron.
Yeah, those are cream of the crop.
None of you guys have been involved much with any arcade one-up, have you? Do any of you guys have any? You have some, don't you, Bart?
Bart. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bart's,
I got this
arcade
Mortal
one-up
Kombat
guy.
here, and the Star Wars, and Simpsons arcade one-ups. And I bought the Mortal Kombat and the Simpsons ones because I found them really cheap when I was on vacation. So we were driving around the country, and I got arcade games
I remember
taking
that.
up the whole back seat.
I think it's when you left my place and you headed back down to Florida and back home you found those.
Yeah, the first one I actually bought in Missouri. I got the Mortal Kombat in Missouri down in Springfield. And then, no, we were in West Plains. It was at the Walmart right across the street from the hotel. So I bought it. And then when I got down to Florida, they had a Simpsons for $100, $111 or something like that. So
Yeah,
I
you
said,
can't beat that.
I'm taking that home.
Yeah,
with
that's
me.
a good deal.
Yeah. And then I modded it so it's got the turtles on it too. So
Nice.
The only thing I've got that's arcade one up is that little barcade that it's still got your high score on it on my bar in there. Then I got that Polaroid photo booth, which didn't have arcade one up written on it anywhere. It says Polaroid, but that was distributed by Arcade One Up. So
I tried to sneak into Bart's place to play his, but it's like playing Pitfall in real life. You got to jump 12 rattlesnakes and get past the dogs and everything. It's not as easy as getting into Mike's place on the weekends. So,
Right. Yeah, I did have a surprise visitor right off the front porch the other morning when I went outside the house. It's like, whoa, hey, oh, whoa.
and not only that, but you think you can sneak in there at 4 a.m. No, Bart's in there playing truck stints at 4 a.m. So,
yeah.
The reason I asked about Arcade One Up is because we've been talking about at games. We've been talking about iArcade, which folded, but you guys made out like bandits, in my opinion. Because I hate to see the company go under, but it was a great product that got better. But I'm just wondering, you see at games coming out with the new pinball, the newer machines. You see them coming, and really, I never had much hope for them. After I bought my stuff, I started getting kind of disappointed. But they seem like they picked themselves back up. All those firmwares every week. But Arcade One Up was the first one to come out with the pinball machines. Zen, they had a contract with Zen, if you remember. Well, the reason I asked about Arcade One Up is it seems like selling things for $100. Oh, there it is. They're showing it again. Man, they just can't get enough of this. Taylor Swift on the local news. They got her all over this news. But anyway, it just seems like Arcade One Up. The more I'm hearing, they beat them to the punch on the pinball, but they haven't come out with anything new. You're not hearing much new, and I haven't heard. And I never did follow that big thing about this John D guy. I think he was just a front guy that got on YouTube that worked for him. But I heard he got fired. You're starting to hear all this stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of shakeups happening at Arcade One Up right now. One of the founders, CEO guy, he's out. AZ Cowboy One saying they just flipped management. We'll have to wait and see. But I was seeing some stuff where they think that John D was biting off more than he could chew with some of these big licensing, like the NFL Blitz. And you got the NFL license to do all that, and then the cabinets didn't sell. And I guess you can already find those on, if you're at the right place, you can find those under $200.
There was also the thing that turned me off about him. He's going on all these. I know we got this little YouTube channel here that, we're nothing big by any means, but he was getting on these YouTube channels and I don't know, kind of falling in line with some of the bullshit you see on some of these channels. This hype and drama and all that stuff. I'm thinking, what are you, a salesman or a professional working for a company, or you got a kid that gets on YouTube and embarrasses yourself, with all this hype and stuff. So, I don't know. Never made sense much to me. I'd watch it just because I thought, every now and then you like to watch stupid shit.
Right. See, now Calvin said they have the Pac-Man XL cabinet in Costco, which brings me, I've seen a lot of stuff where they're talking about John D and his licenses with NFL Blitz and some of these other big names that they released over the last year that just didn't do well. I think, I've been saying it for a while, I think part of the problem with Arcade One Up is they've released like 47 different Pac-Mans.
Exactly.
Everybody who wants Pac-Man has one by now. If you don't,
I have it on the arcade. I put all of them on there.
Yeah, and you could buy the first and second gen Pac-Mans for under $100 when they were coming out with the third and fourth and fifth and whatever number they're on, and then they have a big announcement, and now we're coming out with a Pac-Man XL. It's like, oh, so another Pac-Man? How many times? Some people, and there's a YouTuber that I've watched quite a few, he bought like every one of them, the first 5 that came out, and he said, how dumb am I that I keep buying them? And it's like,
right.
Well, yeah, that's why they keep releasing them, because some people buy every Pac-Man that they release, but a bunch of us I was never a huge Pac-Man fan anyway. I always liked this Pac-Man better than the original. But I certainly wouldn't buy multiples of the same cat. I love Star Wars. I got my sit-down one that I modified to make a stand-up one, and when they came out with the XL, I'm not like, oh, let me have 2 of those. One's enough. One's enough.
I'd say the one most recently, when they first announced the mail order only Burger Time, I love the look of that, and I was like, oh, I'd love to have that. But then I bought my iircade, and they had Burger Time on there, so I was happy enough with having that on the cabinet. But then they have the Atari 50 one that you can get now. I like the way it looks because it's Atari 50, but at the same time, it's loaded with 5 billion Atari 2600 games. I don't really need that on a cabinet. I have that everywhere else in my house right now. So,
all right. Polo says hi. Good to see you, Polo. And then
hi, Polo.
AZ Cowboy brought up a point that I've said in the past too. They need to release a Qbert. I agree, because Qbert has that diagonal joystick.
And how cool would that be if they put that knocker thing in the bottom?
That's what I was going to say. The knocker.
Yep. Yeah, when Qbert falls, you can hear him hit the bottom of the cabinet or whatever. Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's one thing I like with the Star Wars is it has a unique control thing. For the joystick games, you can play those on multiple different things, but you start getting a angled joystick like in Qbert and the knocker. The driving games, I thought they'd get more driving games going on in the light gun games, because I thought that's a brilliant thing to do, because it's a different kind of control scheme. And they were kind of like one and done on all that stuff. It was like, well, we'll put out Terminator the Terminator 2 only has one game. And you're like, how about some more, So I think they kind of hurt themselves there too, releasing a bunch of titles that they've already released. And Greg, you're a huge Galaga fan, right? You got your little mini Galaga. They've released like 5 different versions of Galaga over the years. How many of those 5 have you bought? Aside, you got your bar top.
Yeah.
The end.
Well,
you're a fan of it. You're not going to go out and buy 5 different Galaga.
Right, and I can play it on and that's where I was going to head with that next. Is when I was looking to get a game, I was an arcade type thing. I looked at the game. I looked at the arcade 1-up. Well, first of all, when I first saw the arcade 1-up in a box and a flyer on it, I thought, how cool is this? And then I saw one set up, and I said, okay, this is either for Minnie the Munchkin or for my grandkids, that aren't even, they're just too short. And I'm a short guy, but they look like toys. And the games was big and wide. Not necessarily the most sturdy thing in the world, but it was big and wide. And the fact is, I could put a bunch of games on it. When I saw them buying one arcade game with 1 or 2 games on it. And of course, now they may screw that up. We don't know, though. I'm not going to start any rumor. It was just nice. It was nice when I got my little thumb drive and I got my Coin-Ops X, and once I got Pac-Man, Galaga, Popeye. I just said that to see if I would get an erection. But anyway. Once I had those on there, I was fine. So that was my. And you're right, though. How many Galagas would I buy?
Right. Hey, real quick, Feral Inferno jumped in, and Brooklyn Menace is here. Good to see you guys. Good to see you.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Now, anytime you get a Namco release, it's always the same though, right through the years on any system, right? You got Ms. Pac-Man, Galaga, Dig Dug. It's like the collection's always the same. So I stopped revisiting that a while back because it's always the same stuff. But great games, but again, another collection that I have 9 billion times over. Although that didn't stop me from putting all those on my arcade because I needed them on a cabinet. So
right. Right. Yeah, I get it when you got different, like you did your Popeye series, Poe, and there's a huge difference. Anyone that didn't watch it yet, what the hell's wrong with you? Go watch Poe's Popeye stuff. But there's a huge difference. You go from Atari 2600 to the more modern and all the different types. That makes sense. But even you, as a big Popeye fan, I can't imagine we'd ever see a day when instead of your Mr. Poe style banner behind you, we got 6 Popeye machines lined up that are all playing the same exact code and maybe have a little different artwork or something on the cabinet.
Different variants. Like
Yeah.
the
Right.
silver edition, the gold edition.
Yeah, but it's the same exact code. It's the same exact game. There's no, you
Right.
can't suddenly jump because everyone knows, except Derek, that you can't jump. But yeah, it's.
Well, that's right.
seems-
Derek's not here tonight, is he?
And he's
Yeah.
away.
We can talk
He's in
about
my
them all we
state.
want.
He's
Yeah.
somewhere in my state. He might be right outside here. He's probably looking at me right now. It's dark.
I was going to say we can talk about him all we want, but we do that when he's here. So that's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, Farrell says he enjoys his one-ups, and I enjoy mine. I don't have a problem. I just think that's a place where they messed up, is constantly releasing the same ones over and over. And then some of the ones, like you said, you mentioned the Burger Time. I saw on YouTube and stuff 2 years ago, people were like, man, I didn't get a chance for that Burger Time. Maybe re-release it. You get a bunch of people that are wanting it, but no, we're going to do Pac-Man number 17.
Yeah,
And
definitely
some of
like
these
the
ones
looks of
people
that
would
one.
like to get, they can't get those.
That one
So-
looked cool, and if they would do another thing with Atari, I would like to see a food fight cabinet because it looks pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And a Tapper cabinet would look sweet, although I don't know what all games you'd put on there aside from Tapper. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that opens up two
Youngling
joystick
Tapper.
games, but yeah.
well, I think you're going to get one of those from New Wave Toys eventually, if you feel like
Yeah.
playing Tapper on a 1/6 scale.
Yeah. The Mortal Kombat has Tapper on it, but I think it's root beer though. So
Have you seen the new games? What do you call it? What do they call them? Oh,
New Wave Toys Replicate. My Ghosts and Goblins is due tomorrow, according to tracking. So it's originally, I think they said October. It's due to come tomorrow. So
I want the Coke machine. Have you seen the Coke machine?
yeah, the Coke machine's out, and actually just Friday they announced a new one that's a USB like that Coke machine. Well, the Coke machine is actually a mini fridge,
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
It's
it
a mini
actually works.
fridge.
Yeah.
and they made the change machines before that are also they can charge your arcade cabinets USB hub on them.
Nice.
Well, they just made an announcement at a game show Friday. They're making little cigarette machines with the
I
cool.
saw.
Yeah, and there are a few people that are fired up about that. Why would you promote cigarette? It was a thing of the '80s, you know. I actually considered it because if you pre-order now, the email I got, I think it's $50 instead of $60-some. And I thought, well, I have the Dragon's Lair cabinet. Ghosts and Goblins is coming tomorrow. Maybe I'll put that little cigarette machine in between the two of them. Maybe we'll put Stretch Armstrong and Vincent Price over there playing the game.
Excellent.
Well, the pop machine looks cool to me because I was actually watching. Oh gosh, his name will come to me in a minute. Well, anyway, I was watching a YouTuber that showed this Detroit Love. I don't know, for some reason that group I like him. And he was at that Cleveland thing. Was there some Cleveland? Am I saying the right place? Some big gaming thing going on?
There is I saw Michael B. and a bunch of other guys.
Well, that's where they announced it, right? The new one was
Yeah.
one of those.
He actually had the Coke machine though. It's cool because you put these little tiny Coke cans in there, and you can set it up, and you push a button and it comes out. But then you can put 2 cans of Coke, and of course those guys were all screwing with him. A bunch of them were in the hotel room with him, trying to do this thing live the other night, and he opened it up and somebody put a Corona in there or something. So it won't hold a long neck. It won't hold a long neck. So they're actually cool. Actually cool to drink down. So to me that would be cool sitting on the bar. I'd probably take that Galaga machine down that's got Bart's name on it and throw it in the trash and put that Coke in.
Let me see. I missed one from Farrell. Burger Time looked nice, but they messed up the controls. And Nick's vertical and horizontal games wasn't well executed. Oh yeah, I didn't hear anything
didn't know
about
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually one that I bought on. Did I buy it? Yeah, I got it on the iircade. Anyway, as it one that came already. Maybe it was one that came already with the iircade when I bought it. I can't remember now.
Yeah,
Either that
you
or-
could. Yeah, I think you bought it. I think you had to buy that one in the store.
Okay.
I bought it too, and then now with the encoder chip, you can just
Anything
get all that
goes.
stuff. But
Although they do have a little store back up again on there. So, or not on there, but you can go to that. What is it?
Itcho or whatever.
Yeah, Bitcho.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure we're butchering it. But yeah, did you see they got that pack that has Donut Dodo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I had already bought that on there, but
what are the other games that it's a pack? It has Donut Dodo and a couple other ones. I looked at it. Download it because I think it's free, isn't it?
Yeah. I looked at it the other night and I haven't gone on to buy any because there are a couple other ones somebody listed that I do want that weren't they weren't on there, but somebody put a couple more games up that I do want to grab, and I can't remember what they were off the top of my head. It's become a thing now where I check it every Friday to see what they've thrown up there now.
Yeah, Donut Dodo cab would be sick.
Well, somebody reached out to the guy that made Murtaugh, and it sounds like he's not going to work on it right now, but he sounds interested. He at least wrote back to them. So about maybe putting it up on that itch.
Well, if he was almost done with it, why wouldn't you just finish it and sell it for a few bucks on that?
Right.
Yeah, and get some money out of it. Because, yeah, I would love to have that on there. And that's a cool idea, the Donut Dodo arcade cab. If I hadn't just bought that side art for my iircade for the Double Dragon, that would have been cool to get custom side art for Donut Dodo and turn it into a Donut Dodo cab. But,
well, then instead of a ball top, you need to get a custom glazed donut or something. Homer Simpson donut.
Right?
But
I'm on this no sugar diet for the last 6 months. I might wake up in the middle of the night gnawing on it.
You're licking your joystick, playing with your tongue.
Easy now. Yeah.
Hey guys, can I use? I don't have a video tonight for the pinball tournament, but if you don't mind, I think I'll just take a minute while we still got some people in here to give the scores from last week, which was Championship Pub. So Championship Pub looks like, I'll tell you what, this Cowboy 1, Arizona Cowboy 1, he's tearing them up on these tournaments. 43 million, followed by Tony's Jorgen, 42 million. Pretty close race there.
I was pretty close to that, right?
You and me both.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, what's really bad is what's coming next, I think.
Derek.
Derek.
But look at the difference. Look at the difference, though. 43 million, 42 million. Arizona Cowboy 1 and Tony's Jorgen. He's been here before. I don't see him in here tonight, but he has showed up for the show. So that's 43 and 42 million. Now you got Derek at the third place to drop to 19 million. 19 million. Followed by Off Grid at 14 million. Followed by Postile with 7 million. Followed by G Parker twice, once with the Switch, once on the cabinet with 4 million and 3 million. So I mean, the scores were pathetic except up there at the top.
Derek went home and let somebody else play. He hired a ringer.
He is here, Greg. Greg.
Wait a second. The one last score, Mike CB 0 because he didn't play.
Mike, I don't think Mike owns that one because you tried to set that one up before, and I remember Mike saying he didn't have that one. So.
Yeah, I don't think I have that. Yeah, I don't have that game.
You need to buck up and buy that.
I got Tesla.
I had to buy that pack. Kelly didn't have that pack on her Switch, so I had to buy that pack to play that Championship Pub. But
Tony's
it also
here.
comes with Tony's here.
Tony's here, number two on there. Real close, too. All you had to do was a million more. A little more than a million more. 43.9, 42. Shit, I can't see it now. I don't know. It's something I can't see. This whole thing's a lie. Anyway. So, yeah, great score. But we're not doing a tournament this week. Just before I forget to say that. Sorry about that. But the reason is Mark and I are going to get to work this week. And hopefully, not promising, but next week or the week after, we're going to have the big tournament start. So I think it's time to get that going. and we'll have more about that. Okay, now I can tell you the truth now that Poe's gone. We just didn't want him to play it. There's really no. So anyway, we're gonna try to get this going the next couple of weeks, but we wanted to devote our attention to that. Get everybody all geared up. I think it's going to be similar to what we've done before, though. Where you're going to get points for participating. So even if you participate I can guarantee you, if you participate every week, you'll make it in the playoffs, because we just make it happen that way. We make sure that we know that if you participate, if there's 8 weeks and you get 1 point for showing up each week, all it takes is 8 points to get in the playoffs. And then we make it difficult enough with the odds and things to make anybody has a chance, because, one ball, one try, the best the guys can drain right off the bat. So anyway, it'll be fun, and that's why there's no tournament this week. That's all I got. Other than see you, Poe.
Yeah.
What's up?
So, are we all talked out on that? Do we want to move on to what Mike's got prepared for tonight's show, since he's the only one that actually prepared anything for tonight's show?
Yeah. I didn't even have the video for the pinball. So, yeah, let Mike take it away talking about this, and I'll cue it up here. I got it, Bart. I can do that. So, Mike, take it away. Tell us what we're going to see here.
Sure. I'm going to be showing gameplay on me playing Star Trek, the 25th anniversary for the Game Boy. So, yeah, that's the video I've been playing. It's actually pretty fun. It's like an arcade game. So, you'll see it in the video.
Here we go.
Aloha, Mike the Gaming Road Warrior here. And today we're going to be playing Star Trek for the Game Boy. I want to show you this. I got, I don't know if you can see that, the cartridge itself. It's in really good condition. Glad it doesn't have a name on it. So, managed to get that off eBay. And it came with an instruction booklet, which I love collecting. So I will be buying a hard case for it too. Because like my regular Nintendo and my Super Nintendo games, I like for them to be in cases. So this particular Star Trek game is kind of a side shooter. But I talked to G. Parker and Off Grid Arcade and Mr. Postow when we went up our Star Trek rant, and I remember a lot of us like the Tribble episode. Oh, here we go. We want to try to avoid the Klingons. We're going to go right here. And this is going to be the asteroids. Alright. Check that out. I'm going to delegate some... Okay, I want more speed. And I want more phaser power. Or actually, go here. And shields will be a little bit weak. Let's try that. The only thing I don't like about this is this. It fires diagonal. I'd rather have it be traditional, like... I'm trying to think of the Gradius. Like those type of games. I don't... because I tend to miss. The other button you got, and you see that? That's a... you can warp. Oh, I missed it. So you want to go through that, and you'll be able to kind of warp through here. You won't pass the asteroid belt, but you can kind of move. Now the other button, I'm going to kind of save it. Let's use it now. It's photon torpedoes. Does that kind of spread. I can tell you right now, I love the maneuverability, so I'm glad I kind of up those and things. Now, if you get near a planet, it's going to kind of suck you down. You don't want to touch it, otherwise you'll get destroyed. I actually enjoy playing this game. This is pretty fun. I've been always wanting a Star Trek side-scroller, or, even top-down would have been fine. Wow, Enterprise is really maneuverable right now. Yeah, when I first played this, it was like just super slow. Okay, warp. Let's stay away from the planet. the gravity will pull you up there, so you want to kind of avoid that. Move. Let's see how far we can get on this game. Oh, what's this? Yeah, you want to collect that. I'm not sure if that's like an extra photon torpedo. Oh, I hit. See that? You don't want to hit into the asteroids. You'll get damaged. See, that's why I don't like the diagonal firing. Oh. So far, so good. Now, if you've seen the Klingons, they're there too, and they'll attack you. But I don't want to try to fight those guys. Okay, there's the warp. Let's go, let's go. There we go. And you see the Enterprise at the bottom of the screen? That's how far you have to get in order to make it through here. Now they're starting to fly. And this is not like asteroids on the Atari. It's definitely different. Oh, we want that. Cool. Oh no! Oh, that hurt. That hurt. Oh no, oh no. And you gotta be careful, those planets, they'll suck you right in. Oh, there. It's when you want to use the photon torpedoes when it gets kind of hectic like that. Oh, we're almost out of here. Oh, it's kind of cool about this game too. You will be able to go on the planet as Captain Kirk and look for pieces to build this weapon, I guess, to destroy the planet killer. Alright, let's move. We'll go down right there. Alright. 9 minutes. I think... Okay, we're gonna end it here. We got about... Oh. We can play about a minute, then I gotta quit the video. But I'm gonna give you guys my initial thoughts on this game. It's definitely fun. It reminds me of an arcade type game. It was kind of interesting with Game Boy games. They were the epitome of bringing it with you and having a good time. There isn't too much to get into. You didn't have to figure way too much stuff out like a lot of games are nowadays. It just pick up and play like an arcade game. So would I recommend this? Yes. I'm having a blast with it, and for those of you who like arcade type shooters, this is definitely a game you should try out. Yeah, I wish I could kind of tell you about when I go on the landing party or whatnot. I know in the other NES game you're able to bring other crew members, but this one you're just Captain Kirk in it. So, oh, grab that. Oh, I've never seen these before. Is that a nebula? Okay, that's different. Nice. Oh boy. Yeah, right now it is getting hard. Oh. I'm gonna go for it. Fire photons. Oh, this game's so fun. You know, I should have went and showed you guys what the Klingons look like. I haven't fought them yet. And I think there's other aliens like the Tholarians, if I'm right about that. The ones that build like those little force fields that trap you in. If you guys remember that from one of the old episodes of Star Trek. And I think I've seen it on Enterprise as well when they had the mirror verse episode. Gotta check my time here. Oh, it is 11 minutes. So I'm gonna kind of end the video by saying definitely if you got a Game Boy to pick this up, or even a Super Nintendo, because you can hook it up that way and play the game. And another way you can play these Game Boy games is by the GameCube itself. You can buy that little thing that goes in the bottom and play Game Boy games too. Or be old school, get an original Game Boy and play these type of games, you know. They're very fun. But for me, I'm kind of like Mr. Postal. I'm really not into handhelds. I like some of them, not all. But I just rather play it on a big screen TV. And that's how I enjoy playing these type of games. Alright everyone, take care. And remember, gaming is your road to adventure. Take care folks.
Nice.
Hey!
Love that ending.
Yeah, actually, I didn't explain that in the video. That's what you're after. You're trying to find pieces on different planets for a weapon to destroy the planet killer. So you're trying to hunt that down in the game. So a little bit
Very
different
cool.
take on it than the original series had it.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
I want that on my arcade.
Yeah, it's fun. I wish it was on an arcade machine. That's a really fun game.
Yeah, it looks like it.
That's something you can get. Could you ever get that and put that on the iircade?
Oh, sure you will. Once the Glen Viper board comes out, you'll probably be able to put all the consoles on there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I have NES games and Super Nintendo games on my Street Fighter cabinet. So I put the ROMs on there and they work. The only problem I had with the Super Nintendo games is that there's no audio. So, but, you know, if I'm going to play Super Nintendo, I'll play it here. But I could also play the NES. When I have company, a lot of kids like playing the original Mario Brothers on my arcade machine. So I'll just leave it on there for them to play.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you got? Like a Raspberry Pi in there to run it, or?
It's called an iircade board that I bought. It's got like, I forgot, like thousands of games on it, even for, was it NES and Super Nintendo. And I think a few Sega Genesis games are on it as well, like Sonic. So the popular stuff. But yeah, when
Nice.
people are playing it, they tend to play the original NES games, little kids. And if it's the adults, of course, they play the old school stuff.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah.
And I'm
I don't
trying
know.
to get one of my devices to quit falling over in here. Everything's falling over.
I still haven't heard anything. Poe, have you heard anything about when Glenn's deck is supposed to come out?
No, I haven't really looked too much more into it. I got so many things coming now. Everything's pre-order these days. I got 50 things from Atari and my arcade come. That kind of makes me a little bit angry. I ordered that thing from my arcade the other day there. That it's a flashback from my arcade and Atari. You know, and pre-ordered it, and they'll be shipping at the end of October. Well, somebody was on one of my Atari groups the other day. Costco had it already where they were in California for like $77, a big display of them. They bought it right in the store. So, yeah, this Costco already had it on display, even though the pre-orders for mail order isn't until the end of October. So, well, what the hell? You know,
Yeah.
it's $22 more for the pre-order, and there these guys are walking into Costco and picking it up.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty messed
See,
up.
that's one of my biggest complaints nowadays is, you know, No, going in the store and seeing it, touching it, holding it, feeling it, seeing what it's like. And I mean, that's one of my biggest bitches when I go up to GameStop up there. I screw with that guy. I've gotten to know that guy up there. I think I've told you that. I get along with him. But I go in there and I'll say, the first encounter I had with him was I said, "You got PlayStation 5s? Yeah, we got some. Let me see one." "You got to buy one." "I just like to see one." "In the back." "We'll go get one out of the back." "We can't. Not unless you want to buy it." So what are you talking about? "Well, too many people are stealing them," they said. They just come in, and they're not allowed to stop criminals anymore. You can't stop criminals in this state anyway. If you want something, you just go and take it out of the store and walk out the door. They don't call the police because they're afraid they'll get sued. So I said, "What do you think? I'm going to steal this son of a bitch? Just show it." "No, I ain't buying it. I can't touch it, see it, smell it, lick it, whatever. I ain't buying it."
Sounds like when you're getting married before the 60s. Yeah, when you got her home, it was the real deal.
I always said you want to lick it and stick it before you throw it and blow it.
Yeah. Yeah. Nowadays, you better be able to take it for a test drive because you don't know what parts are under that hood. Think you're getting a Ferrari and there's Honda parts down below or something. I don't know what's happening. Bait and switch. You got to do the old Crocodile Dundee intro every time you meet someone nowadays.
Now, speaking of racing, though, I'd like to know what's the difference between racing at 82% and 85%. Why can't somebody win at 85%, but they can win at 82%?
Oh, I lost at 82% too. I was middle of the pack. I changed some other settings in the middle of it.
And the only reason I point this out is because I wasn't going to point this out. I happened to run a guy off the road and hit him in truck sim the other day, and Bart's just got to say, "Hey, you hit a guy." "Yeah, I know I hit the guy. I didn't say nothing about it either. I just kept driving."
Yes, at the end though, you said, "Hey, I made it through incident free." And I said, "Well, actually, hate to tell you," and I time stamped it.
You were right. I just, honestly, when I got to the end of that video, I thought I didn't hit anybody. So, and I thought, what the hell is he talking about? And I went back and looked at it, and I said, "I'll be a sumbitch. I didn't. I guess it just didn't. It jumps up and tells you you had a crash. But I was paying attention to something else at the time, and I didn't notice it. And so when he said that, that's why I just was being real smug in my answer. I didn't care, of course. I love it when you make comments, but I was real smug. I said, "I knew that." Kind of like Pee Wee Herman when he wrecked his bike. I knew that. I mentioned it.
Yeah, no, I was just having fun with you, but
no, I know, and don't ever stop. Don't ever stop. That's fine.
Same deal with my racing thing. I thought I got cocky there. I'm thinking, hey, I smoked those guys at 80%. I was joking in my video. I'm thinking 82% because I thought that'd be funny, and then I did 85%. Got my ass handed to me. The only reason I didn't come in dead last is because I kept cutting that guy off. And then I did 82%, and I still couldn't win. So it's like, yeah, I shouldn't have talked. That's one thing I don't like right now about this Assetto Corsa is I guess I can't move on until I finish first or second. I can't even do the next race. So it's not like, if they did that in NASCAR racing, by the third race, 90% of the racers would be out because it's like you got to finish in the front or you're out. And you can't move on. So it's like, no, the guys in the back should be able to move on. You just keep losing. But unless I'm just missing something. So then I switched over to that NASCAR Heat again, or the Need for Speed Heat, because I released them in the reverse order. I played that Corsa first and got my ass kicked. I said, that's it. I'm just going to go around and tear up in that car and crash into things. And got me a new CUDA. And that is a drifting machine, that CUDA. That's pretty sweet.
When you're doing Need for Speed, to me, it lets me know what it feels like to be Derek in American Truck Simulator.
Right, you get that feeling. It's like, oh, so you just drive fast and hit things and just keep on driving.
I went back and tried to do that dexterity race against that Dexter dude probably about 5 more times the other night and got my ass handed to me again. I got fired up at that.
I set you up on that one, Poe, because I couldn't beat it either. So I was just like, hey, Poe, go. Now, if you'd have beat it, I'd have been like, damn it.
I didn't record the other night. I got so fired up at it. And then I went to do this other race. And the wife came home while I was doing this other race talking to me. I ended up driving clear out of the race. I'm out on the city roads during the race. And I'm like, where the hell am I at? Then I looked and I'm like, I'm not even on the yellow road anymore. I turned around and drive back. I was like 4 minutes behind everybody when I finally finished the race. So I turned it off. I'm like, I don't think I'm playing this anymore.
Yeah.
I see Cowboy One's talking about we need to do a group race. And Derek and I did do that. It was fun. Which brings me to the next thing I was going to ask anyway. Poe, I just don't understand this. You know, I get it to play online in order to keep track of how well you're doing, and for yourself. Yeah, you know, you may have to sign up online, but I notice this thing's just irritating the crap out of me every time I fire up my computer now. That app is starting up, which it should be for the whatever the name of the company is for Need for Speed. Whoever that is.
EA. It's EA.
Yes, that EA app pops up. Well, I close it and it still works because I'm linked through Steam, but somehow it's kind of like Discord. I love our Discord. Everybody jump in our Discord. We're going to use it for our pinball tournament. You know, I had to talk to Derek on I don't like things coming on when I turn on my computer. These son of a bitch things come on every time automatically. So with me getting done with my rant about that kind of crap, this pisses me off about your situation, Poe. So you linked your account, you unlinked it. Now, what, you're punished forever? You'll never be able to play that game?
I've been linked to that. My PlayStation Network account's been linked to EA for years, probably since my PS3. And it told me it keeps telling me you need to change your password. And I change it, and then it just keeps coming up and saying that. So I went on their actual website. And somehow, at some point, my boy's PlayStation account got linked through my email.
Oh.
And when I went to change that, it said, well, my old account had been unlinked from it, and I can't link it to it ever again. That's what it told me. So I don't know why that is. Yeah, because I want to link it again. I'm not changing my PSN account. I've had that account for 9 billion years, you know, so I'm not changing that just for EA, you know.
I'd write them back and say, you want to make money from me, you want to sell me a product, but you tell me, I mean, what, do you got, a life sentence? Because that's just dumb.
It must have been when my son was pretty young before he had his own email. Somehow he did that and linked my email account to it or whatever he did.
Can you just get a new email and link using that?
Yeah, I don't know if I can. I could probably change it to my Gmail account. I could probably try it. Maybe try to do that.
Just try linking it to another
try
account.
Doing that.
You may have to link your. Would you have to link your PlayStation to that same email for it to work?
That I'm not sure. I would kind of hate to do that because I get everything to this email account, you know.
Yeah. I just don't understand where it's easier to change your gender than it is to change your email with your EA account.
EA is one of those things where I've always kind of hated them, you know. To me, they've always been a-holes and money grabbers from the start with all their DLC and all that stuff. So I don't play much of their stuff these days.
Yeah.
Used to like the Need for Speed stuff, and I didn't get into them for a while until you guys did. And I even looked into their next game after this, just out of curiosity. They had one to come out 2 years ago, and after Heat. And it's more of a cartoony anime type of Need for Speed. And I'm looking at it, and online, the digital version is like $75 for that thing. I don't know if you guys looked at that or not.
Wow.
And I actually found the fit.
Which one?
Yeah, the newest one. I can't remember what they call it now. It came out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still like $70-something on PlayStation Network. But you can find the physical copy on Amazon for like $35 or something like that. It's crazy.
Wow.
So like, yeah, why not go with the physical copy if you're going to get it, you know? But
right.
Yeah.
Especially
it's funny. That's funny you mentioned that. I did buy Need for Speed Heat, so I just ordered it for the Xbox One, so that way I would have a physical copy of that game, as well as like play it on my PC, of course. But yeah, it's like
I guess their newest one's a little bit newest one's a little more cartoony. I guess it's a throwback to one of their other Need for Speeds that they had a while back that was cartoony.
Yeah.
Well, see, I didn't realize I had a Need for Speed or that EA account. So, like I said last week's show, Unknown Gamer Travis was here, and I said, I don't have Need for Speed anywhere else. And he says, yeah, you do, on your Switch. And I guess there is a version of Need for Speed that I have on my Switch.
Yeah, I don't know what I had it through originally, if it was a Madden game, a hockey game, or maybe we had the Plants vs. Zombies games that my kids played, so I might have had an account for that. I don't remember now. But at some point it got messed up. My son must have went in and did something that I didn't know about. So.
Yeah. Hey, wanted to say hi. Retro Bliss Gaming popped in. We were
Retro
in conversation, so I didn't want to step. But
well, we got the
Pittsburgh
Gaming Expo. Pittsburgh Gaming Expo is coming up this Saturday, and I do believe I'll be seeing Retro Bliss there live in the flesh for the first time ever.
Nice.
So
Nice.
That's
Yeah,
this
speaking.
weekend?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Greg.
Next weekend?
yeah, this coming Saturday, the 30th, September 30th, it's Pittsburgh Gaming Expo. And
Awesome.
John Riggs will be there, and Mr. Rightway will be there.
Nice.
Got your badges? Yes, my son and I have our badges. Hopefully, I'm feeling 100%. If not, he'll be driving there. So maybe he'll be walking me around, holding my fat ass up, walking around the arcade.
You got to run through.
Run through like a hippo.
Yeah.
They announced a pinball tournament, but unfortunately it's a 2-day pinball tournament, and I only got badges for 1 day, so it doesn't make much sense to start the tournament on Saturday when it ends on Sunday. So
What's the badges? Just what are they? Just tickets? You mean badges? You win?
yeah, you get your badges when you go in for admission there. What time? Well, we don't live very far from it, so as soon as I can roll my cheeks out of bed and get in the car and drive down there. I'd like to say I'll get up to an alarm and make plans, but man, I'm terrible for that. Hopefully, I'd like to get there when the doors open. So I imagine that's probably around 10. I'm terrible at that stuff too. I need to actually look at their website and see when they're starting everything. But I'll probably walk in and buy a bunch of whole stuff that I don't need at the vendors' tables, and that's the thing. You go in there, it's like you don't want to hold off on buying stuff because something good might be gone. But then if you buy a whole bunch of stuff and then you want to play the free arcade cabinets, and you got all this crap you're trying to hold so that nobody grabs it off you, but you're trying to play the consoles and the cabinets. So.
Nice. Yeah, I guess Farrell's going to Retro Game Con October 7th in Syracuse, New York.
Oh, cool.
That's pretty awesome. Bliss said he's going to rent a hotel room so you can get there early to your Pittsburgh one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you're seeing all these conventions that are going on and stuff. I'm thinking I'm going to run a contest on my channel of some sort, and the winner gets to buy me tickets to some of these. I think that's a brilliant contest.
There's an even bigger one in Columbus in November. And I toyed around with the idea of going to that one out in Ohio with my boys. They have a few bigger YouTubers that'll be at that one, but Pittsburgh's still fairly new. I think they did one before the whole COVID thing, and then they didn't do it for a few years because of COVID, and then last year they got back into it again. So it's growing again, but it's still not real big just yet. But they also do tabletop type stuff there. There's a whole section where people were playing Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that all weekend at different tabletop games too. So.
Nice.
I don't think they do anything like that here. You'd think to me, Missouri and Kansas City, Missouri is like smack in the middle of the country, north, south, east, and west. I'm just surprised they don't have something like that going on. And we've got, Lord knows, we got a convention center from hell down there. I mean, it's huge. It spans over the top of an interstate. You drive under it like a tunnel when you're driving on the interstate through downtown. But I'm surprised they don't have anything like that.
And 8-Bit Millie will be there. He makes games for the ColecoVision, and he makes games for Atari 2600, stuff like that. So it'd be cool to see what he has there. Maybe buy a few home brews off of him.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're having a retro, the Portland Retro Game Con. I think it's October 13th. And what's kind of funny about that, I bumped into John Hancock, and he was actually, well, what's kind of funny, my son went to the school he was at before, so I knew him back then. It was kind of neat bumping into him, and he kind of recognized me. He's like, "Hey, I know you," and then we just talked, and he said I should definitely go to the Portland Retro Game Con, since I think he said he's going to be getting rid of his Atari Jaguar and all his games. I think that's what he said. And I went and looked it up, and I was kind of like, whoa, there's going to be a lot of people there, like Angry Video Game Nerd. He's showing up. Who's the other guy? Of course, John Riggs. He's from Washington anyway. And then Radical Reggie. Trying to think of that guy. He fixes game consoles. Do you know who he is? And his thing on his YouTube channel says "Figure It Out."
Oh,
You ever heard of him?
Yeah,
He's coming.
I subscribe, but I haven't watched him in a little while. Figure it out. Yeah, I know who you mean.
Yeah, yeah, he's coming over there too. So I'm like, oh wow, I gotta definitely go over there. So and see what's going on, because I've never been to it, and also my friend Zach. He said I should attend because I've missed out on all those other ones, but I usually just tend to save money for the what's called the Fan Expo, which I went last year, and for my family, because the tickets I like getting the VIP, but they're expensive, so I got to save up for it now. But for the retro, I think I'll just pay the normal tickets. That way I can just go in there on the Saturday and see everybody. Then that'll be it for me. Be cheaper, save some money. Yep.
Yeah, we'll be heading there Saturday. Looking forward to it. I think we're stuck. I don't know. We haven't been to a Steel City Con since the Goonies were there. We toyed around with the idea of going to the one this December just because the whole cast of Christmas Story is going to be there. But these things are getting so huge and crazy. The Steel City Con is like really expensive now. You know, they're getting so many guests that it's crazy that people standing in line for hours upon hours to see these people. So. The gaming expo is more up my alley. I just love the video games and everything's set to free play, so I'd rather do that than stand there and wait for actors these days.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think the pinball place did. I don't know. They have a Comic-Con type thing here every year down at the convention center, and I know that the pinball place shut down because they took pinball machines up there. So. Maybe there's some gaming stuff going on at the same time. I don't know. I need to research that more. I know he took most of his pinball machines out of the pinball place and took them up there.
Yeah.
And so what's your thoughts on that, Poe? Do you think that that's something we should look into for next week, or?
He doesn't want to share because it's private.
Questions for Poe. So, Poe, do any of those Pittsburgh conventions still happen on the Rivers Club?
How about those Steelers, huh? How about those Steelers?
How about those Steelers? Yeah, we don't want to talk about the Steelers. Hey, Poe, you going to buy me tickets up to Pittsburgh so I can go too? Just don't say anything if you're going to. Hey, all right. All right.
And you know what? If you stop by here on your way through, I'll ride up with you.
There you go. There you go. It's on the
in
way.
the Cessna.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
it would be fun to travel around and do those things. I guess I'm just getting too old to think about doing all that travel. It'd be fun. I don't know. What is that one? That Southern Fried Chicken, Southern Fried Gaming thing? Southern Fried something. Is that something that goes on?
That sounds familiar. Southern Fried Gaming Convention or something like that.
Yeah, it's down.
You had me at chicken. I don't know.
Something that goes down on.
Oh, Southern Fried Gaming Expo.
Yeah.
Where's that one at?
I'm about to see right here.
Louisiana?
Renaissance Atlanta.
Atlanta? Oh.
Looks like it's in Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta.
Yep,
Hey,
Atlanta, Georgia.
Now everybody's an expert. Look at them. They're all saying it's in Atlanta. It's Southern Fried Gaming. Yeah, we
Yeah,
figured it
Atlanta.
out.
Yeah.
Atlanta wouldn't be too bad a drive for me.
AZ Cowboy's been there, he said, a few times. Oh, Poe's back.
Come to Pittsburgh. It's not too far for you guys to drive. Get in your trucks, big rigs.
Right?
I'll just fly up with Bart. He'll fly me up in his flight stimulator.
Right? Yeah.
You know, I've enjoyed watching you fly in Microsoft 2020 Flight Sim 2020. Right? That's the 2020 is what you're using.
Yeah.
I just can't bring myself. I mean, one thing I will say for sure is your graphics, your ground graphics look more. You're seeing more stuff that's really there. I loved it when you flew over our twin stadiums, Arrowhead Stadium for the Chiefs and Royal Stadium for the Kansas City Royals, and they were there. They're not there in Flight Sim X-Plane 11. Although it did kind of drive me nuts when you land at Lee Summit and they got guys that wave you in taxi and stuff, which Lee Summit Airport's just a little 2 or 3 runway non-controlled tower type airport.
They had that here. I was laughing because the guy marshaled me in with it's like, there's no dudes here at Van Horn. But yeah, it's neat. The scenery is really neat. I flew up, I don't know if you saw that video, I flew up to where the Blue Origin launches, where Shatner went up. And it's modeled fairly well. I didn't go into super detail with what the buildings are because our daughter works there, and I don't know how much I should talk about it, but it's pretty well done. So that's leading me to my next. I've already went down to Boca Chica where SpaceX launches, and I'm going to start my series of flights. I'm going to fly from here over to Florida so I can fly around the Cape and see what they got modeled over there for launches.
What's it called?
What?
What was it called?
What's what called? Flying over to the Cape?
Boca Chica?
Boca Chica, yeah. Butt Chica. Butt cheeks. Yeah, Boca Chica, where they launched that big Star Wars.
Boca Chica.
Yeah, Boca Chica.
I knew a stripper once. Her name was Pocahontas. She dressed like an Indian. She was from the Slapaho tribe.
No,
Good night, everybody.
I think he has a long list of stripper names. I don't know. I just figured. But I got to ask you about Flight Sim though. It seemed I was thinking about going ahead and getting it. So I'm confused enough. I quit flying. I got to get my yoke out and stop doing driving sims and do the Flight Sim. But it just seems like it's such a huge program. Boy, I'll tell you what, I just upgraded this from a 1 terabyte to a terabyte drive. And, and I totally explained one video where I did the maintenance on these and I cloned these drives. And then I had to figure out how to take a 1 terabyte drive and clone it to a terabyte and then open up you got to open that space up. It's not readily available. Now I'm thinking I'm going to need a 4 terabyte drive. Although the prices are coming down, it's amazing what you can get an 8 terabyte drive for now. So,
right. Yeah, it is large, but I think it's worth it. I'm really enjoying it, and I can't run VR. My computer won't run it in VR, but I fly it flat pancake mode, and then I'll save X-Plane 11 for when I want to do VR flying. So
that's something else I'm
enjoying it. And I bought that Cessna with retractable gear, so
I'm digging that.
It adds an extra aspect, and I get to use my gear lever. I have the control with the gear lever, so I get to use it, and it flies a little faster.
Well, I'm going to ask you this on the show, but we'll talk more about it when we're not on the show because I don't want to get too deep into it. But I've been playing with that 3-screen aspect, and then of course I had the eye thing and just kind of quit on it. And I went into that file and changed that 0 to a 2 or to a 4 or whatever, just expecting that it'd work. And it didn't. So I assumed there's something else. And then I watched another YouTube video where I had to go into my NVIDIA.
Yeah, go into surround mode.
Yeah, I went into surround mode, but it wouldn't let me do more than 2 screens.
Really?
And that may be because I didn't bring my other screen in. I was trying to use the 2 of one type and 1 of another type. So maybe that's it. I don't know. But
Oh, it should, because that's what I did. I had the 50-inch in the middle and 2 32s on the sides.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing only now. It's 32 and 24. It's the same 2 24s and a 32.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll get with you on that sometime because I kind of abandoned that project with my eyes being messed up because I said I was done talking about the eyes. It was funny. The day I came home and getting all this done, I thought I had some canned videos I already had set up. That's what you're seeing now. I'm just releasing them each day. But I thought, I'll shoot a new one. I should have kept that video, though. Here I am driving after my eye surgery. I hit more shit. I was running over. I said, this is a special.
We can talk about all that stuff, though. But
this is a special edition.
You got to set up that surround mode and all that. So.
Yeah, this is a special edition of Derek driving G. Parker's.
Right.
It had to have been better than that live video I did. What was it? Yesterday, or I did VR video the other day.
Oh yeah. I just watched it right before the show.
Oh, that turned out terrible. I think I found out what it is. Now, I hadn't done a VR video on the PS since July, and my headset keeps cutting out. And I think it's that dongle that I bought. When I looked it up, that seems to be it for some reason. It's messing up with that gold headset that I have. And I think that's what it is. It makes sense because I bought that dongle back around then at 90 degree. And some people are saying put it in the back of your PlayStation, which kind of defeats the purpose. Now I've got to stretch around to have that thing. But that's cutting out, and that's really messing with my gameplay. I'm trying to play, and it's cutting the sound out for me and my voice and everything else. But I was playing Hellsweeper. It looks like a cool game, so maybe I can get back to that. It just came out, and I actually just found out about it. I was looking for new games, found it, and downloaded it. I watched Brooklyn Menace play a little bit of it before I got to play it, and so hopefully I'll get that straightened out and get to play it the right way without everything cutting out playing it. But it looks like a pretty sweet game.
Come the middle of October when I get released from these. I'm looking forward to getting with you, Poe, and playing some of that, or all you guys, but I'm going to be cool not playing with prescription glasses, which were a pain in the ass. Putting that headset on, getting them on and off, it was just horrible. I think some of you, Kelly's got prescription lens filters in hers. So I'm looking forward to doing that, but I can't do it obviously right now, but I'm thinking how cool that's going to be for me to be able to wear that.
Yeah, Ghostbusters is coming out for both PlayStation and the Quest. One of the guys I subscribed to, played it. He got to play it at one of the gaming conventions, and he said it was all right. The single player was all right that he played. So the multiplayer, who knows? But I think the multiplayer is only going to be 3 players, so we'll see.
Is it worth it? And I want a simple answer. Don't give me descriptions. Just
he wasn't. His first look video, he was only allowed to show the stock footage they gave him. He played it at the show on the floor. So okay. his camera was set off to the side showing him. He could show that footage, but the actual close-up footage was the footage that they allowed him, that they gave him. So it wasn't really it wasn't a great video to really judge it by. For him, it was kind of middle of the road. He said, this is an all right game, So I have to wait till closer to time for sure to really judge it. It's probably going to be a lot of fun with a couple buddies playing multiplayer, I would imagine,
Yeah.
That
no
Hellsweeper
right?
that Hellsweeper that I played, to me, I think teleporting was holding me back in it. It seemed to mess me up trying to fight the guys in it. So the next time I play it, I think I'm going to have to just set it back to regular, to dash around and run around and shoot the guys. Because when I tried to teleport, all of a sudden the enemies were on the wrong side. They were too close to me to get them with the sword and stuff like that. So I need to set that back up. I tried to sell it to teleport just so I wouldn't be puking all over the place, but I think it messed me up.
Oh.
Yeah, and if we're going to talk about VR stuff, I can throw out there that that submarine game's still coming out this fall sometime, where
Oh,
we
cool.
could all be in a submarine working different stations and get in a battle. I think it's an
Nice.
old diesel, like World War II era, from what I understand. That should be fun. And apparently, Real VR Fishing released the US East DLC.
Oh,
So I don't know. I didn't buy it yet. I don't know what locations are on there, but I did see on Facebook people were talking about the new DLC and the Eastern United States. So that ought to be interesting. Maybe I'll talk about that next week because I'll be downloading it this week now that I don't have to work that grueling schedule of 4 days. I'm back to my 2 days a week, so I'll have time to do some fishing. But yeah.
Are you done with that? You say you are done with that?
Yeah.
Well, what anybody else got anything, or should we move into final thoughts? What do you want to do? I'm good. Everything's fine with me. I'm having a good time.
I'm ready for fun. I'm all talked out, which means my final thoughts will probably be 37 minutes after Poe's 38 minutes, plus the 27 minutes he takes out of Mike's final thoughts. But,
Mike always reminds me of something. Well, so does Bart. So do you, Greg. Oh, look at that armpit.
I had a thought like 20 minutes ago what my final thoughts were going to be, and now I don't know. So my final thoughts are going to be, it's gone. It left. I don't know what I was going to talk about.
Well, let's start with Mike down there. Maybe he'll make Poe's mind come alive with final thoughts. Mike, what do you got?
sure. Actually, speaking of new games, I just was reading about, for those of you who like Grand Theft Auto, they're coming out with a new game. So, 6, and it's supposed to take place in Vice City. So, if you played Vice City, it took place in the 80s. It kind of had that Scarface feel to it. And
Nice.
it's in modern day. And one of the things I kind of read about that fascinated me, I'm not sure if it's true or not, but in the city, so you'll see buildings and stuff, and then gradually through the storyline, things will start changing. Like you might not see a building there, and then all of a sudden they're doing construction on it, and it's built, or some things are changed, and like everything is getting more modernized in that world. And then the other thing was weather. So if was it like a hurricane or maybe like a tsunami hits, it'll affect like the city. It'll be destroyed, and then of course if you're driving through there, you could be affected by going out in the ocean with the water. So I'm kind of looking forward to that because I'm like, wow, that seems really cool because they've been working on that engine for a long time. And to go back to Vice City, which was in Florida, in the Miami area, so you'll be able to drive around in that type of environment. And it's supposed to, the story is supposed to be a Bonnie and Clyde type of story. And I don't know who the actors they hired on it, but I know from who's the guy that played in the Vice City before. Do you remember the actor's name?
Oh,
He was in Goodfellas.
yeah.
Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. So, but I'm just curious about it. So I just read, it's just rumors right now, but it seems really interesting. I can't wait to try it. And then lastly, yeah, I'm working right now. I got the video shot and I'm doing the editing right now. So give me a week. I want to kind of take my time then to release the video. So
Nice.
that's all I got.
And Bo's
Okay, Poe, what do you got? Well, thanks for your final thoughts, Poe. Moving right along. I don't have anything, and Bart doesn't have anything. So good night, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I came up with just a short little funny, not more of, but a joke that I was going to do as mine, but I expected Poe to be here, and I don't want to. But so I'll just throw my joke out. This is my final thought. I'm just going to pop this up, And later on, I'm going to replay this, and I'm going to record Kelly reading off this quote from Feral Inferno so I can remind her from time to time what she said. Always stick the dongle in the back. Yeah, so that's my future plans, is to somehow record Kelly saying that out loud so I can use that when needed.
Words to live by.
Words to live by. Poe, you got anything to add to that? No, this is Poe's best final thoughts ever. Most insightful thing. Kelly's laughing, so at least she's not changing the locks on the house right now. And Farrell's glad to help. Yeah.
Well, I know. I'll just want to throw in real quick my final thought. Well, it's pertinent is to always stick the dongle in the back. So,
right. Right. Yeah. I still can't remember. I did have a real thing that I was going to talk about as a final thought. And, I know what I was going to say, talking about upcoming stuff. Retro Man Randy Savage had commented on my one of my train sim videos. That Derail Valley that I've been playing, it was designed with VR in mind. And I kind of messed with it in VR for the first time when I first played it, but it was difficult, and I was in the house because it was cooler. The computer's out here. So Tuesday's video, which I'll be shooting tomorrow morning, I'm always a day ahead when I do my recording. Tomorrow morning when I get up, I will be trying to do a run in the train sim in VR out here before it gets too hot. So that's my immediate plans, is to try to run the just flat out left. I hope everything's okay. I hope he didn't get his wife came down here talking about dongles and something happened. But yeah, so that's my big plans for the week, and then my normal, truck simming and flight simming.
I had a question for your train simulator. Are you almost close to buying a new train? So, because it seems like that one doesn't have enough horsepower when you were going uphill.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting with that game. You have to buy the license to drive them. It's not like you buy a new train.
Oh.
So I can see them, and then I did buy the license for the DM3, which has more power, and it's trickier to drive because you actually have to shift gears. And but the first mission I say mission, but they're jobs. I mean, it's a job. The first job that I wanted to do with it, I ran all around, and you have to, not only do you have to have the license, but the yard you're in has to have one available. And there wasn't one. And when I parked, when I did my next job, when I came back to Harbor Town, there was one in the roundhouse. I saw a DM3, so I'm hoping that when I start tomorrow morning, the first thing I'm going to do is run over to that roundhouse and see if that DM3 is over there, and I'm going to grab it and bring it over to the yards where I can do pickups. And so my first run doing in VR, I might be doing one that I have to shift gears while I'm driving, and but it pulls a lot more weight.
Cool.
So hopefully that'll come up. Go ahead.
Any nostalgic old steam locomotives or anything that would be cool, like historic old style?
Yeah, there is a steam locomotive. I think there's two actually. And I was scared because I was reading people saying it's a lot of work for one person because you don't have a fireman in the cab with you. You are the fireman and you're the engineer. But I watched a guy on YouTube, and it doesn't look as hard as you would think. They kind of dumbed down the fireman's duties a little bit because, you can't just be shoveling the whole time. You do have to drive the train sometimes. So they made it where the coal doesn't quite burn down as fast. But you have to shovel the coal in there, and you have to keep an eye on the water levels, and you got to keep that steam engine going. So I think I'm looking forward to driving a steam train. But it's like everything else. You have to buy the licenses. And the trick to buying the licenses are right now with that little the DE2 I'm driving. I don't know if you've noticed, even when I crashed one, which I should have put that video out, I crashed it right into the wheelhouse. But but I cut it out because it was surrounded by 10 minutes on either side of me running around lost. So I cut all that out. But even at that, my copay was $100. When I get the license to do concurrent jobs, which I have to do to get, it raises my fee, my copay by $4,000. So every run, it can cost me, 40 times as much money as what it's costing me now. So I'll have to take bigger jobs to be able to pay for it. And then to get the steam engine, it could raise it. So yeah, it starts getting expensive and you have to do bigger jobs. So I'm a little nervous also. It's like, I can keep running this little DE2, but I can't do really big jobs with it yet. But yeah.
It just seems so relaxing. It's like a relaxing, fun, the racing's kind of cool. The truck driving, you kind of get into situations, get nighttime, it'll start raining sometimes. People will pull out, these, you were the one that said people bitching about the AI drivers are idiots. Well, people were complaining. Well, to me, I'm looking at, well, that's what somebody do. They'd pull right over in front of you or stick their nose out there or wait for you to go on. Like, go ahead. And then as soon as you go, they'd go and run into you.
Right. Yeah. That's why so many accidents happen in real life. It's not because people in real life are great drivers. Yeah. And I think I said so. I pulled up to it was a 3-way because there was only 3 roads. But I said, man, these AI drivers are even worse than human drivers at a 4-way stop. And that's saying a lot because human drivers are idiots when you get to a 4-way stop. Like you said, everyone waits and then everyone goes at once. You're like, it's not hard, dude. You take turns, you go when it's time to go. But
you know what you call four blondes at a 4-way stop?
What's that?
Mass confusion.
Yeah. That's true. But well, I'm guessing Poe must have had some issues and he's not going to make it back.
Sometimes his battery dies. Poe is battery operated, just like you, Bart. He's kind of off when it comes to his.
Right. Sometimes his battery died. Sometimes it's his phone battery. Sometimes it's just Poe's battery. But so unless you had anything else, I'm all talked out. And
no, the only thing I was going to bring up was just for my final thought is again, my apologies. There's no tournament this week, but get ready. We're going to do another big one. Probably looking at 10-week tournament. Scoring, keep track of scores, have a playoff after the 10 weeks. It'll take 2 or 3 weeks, so it'll probably be a good, 3.5 month project, get us right up to the holidays. And it'll be a lot of fun. So hopefully we can get the word out to people and we can grab Champagne Room. After the last tournament ended, we kind of changed our format and moved to this timetable, which may have not been conducive, but we got a lot of good people that are playing now. And I don't know, I'll make sure I put it out on my Facebook channel and some other places. So, because anybody's welcome to play. You don't have to be a subscriber. You don't have to. The only thing is, we do have to know who you. My biggest complaint is you do have to know who you are so we can get a hold of you when the end comes up. That you get to move on because there'll be private passwords for those that move on. And again, we gave away some small gift. It's mainly a trophy, and then maybe a few gift cards for the top winners, but. Nothing big, but I still like to be able to, just like people to communicate good. So, but that's all I've got for tonight, guys, and enjoying the Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Central.
All right, been fun.
Yep.
I say roll credits.
Roll credits. Here we go, everybody. I hope I got the right credits. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
The same one we've been